Hello, this is Prophet Ambi Glow, and like I say, tonight I'm just chit-chatting and sharing testimonies, and hopefully I pray that it goes to who it is supposed to go to. God, God guides you to the video that you are supposed to listen to, because he just placed it in my heart to run from the gym and just start talking. So I was like, bet, Lord, got you. And like I say, I love talking about God. I don't ever get tired of talking about God. Like, I'm not kidding. I could talk about him forever. I could talk about all the things he has done in my life, even when I was in the world. But, which I'm about to actually currently right now. This one specifically is going to be like, I was talking with my sister. Okay, just to break it down. I was talking with my sister, and her friend is going through, she doesn't have a godly man. And when I say a godly man, I mean a leader. He's not very good with leading. And and my sister has been trying to, tell her, listen, like, you have to go to God about this, pray about it. Like, he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing. And already the relationship is out of God's covenant. So they're not married, and they already have like 3 kids. It's a whole thing. But it had me thinking about how hard it was. And I don't even have kids, okay? That's the thing. It was so hard for me. So I pray that maybe this video will touch somebody who is in a relationship currently that it is hard to get out of. Okay, God, first of all, I want to start by saying God sees your struggle. Okay, God sees you, like, God knows your heart. So when you say you love hard, he already sees whether or not you really love hard or not. So like, for me, I'm gonna be so honest with you. Like, I love hard. I love really hard. Like, it was, I ain't gonna lie, like, I was kind of like borderline obsessed with people, but I was like, I'm not obsessed. It's just like I'm not obsessed where I'm like trying to stalk you or it. Okay, I was like, I'm not obsessed where I'm like gonna kill you or anything like that. Like, I was like the type of person who was like obsessed in like a, like, I love hard type of way. So I kind of want to see you all the time. And like, I would drive by people's house. Anyways, okay, so we're not even gonna get that deep into it. But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the past me. That's what God delivered me from. And so I love hard, right? I know what that's like. I love hard. Like I said, I'm not the type of person to be like, oh, if I can't have you, no one can. Like, that was not that at all. It was just like, I love hard because I didn't have love growing up. So it was more of like a trauma response. Not, I'm not trying to like say it was okay or justify it. I'm just saying that's where I'm coming from, okay? But I love hard. So I'm just thinking about the time where I was in like I said, it was back and forth, okay? It was back and forth. It wasn't like a consistent 10-year relationship, but it was like a back and forth. Really, it was 8 or 9 years. But it was a back and forth relationship that was really toxic. I was in the world, and he definitely was in the world too. You know what? I ain't even gonna say definitely, because that's like throwing kind of some shade, because I know I was in the world too. But I was in the world, and so we bonded over trauma. Like, thinking back, it was just trauma. Like, it was a whole trauma relationship. So I just think, like, she's having a my sister's friend is having a hard time leaving that relationship, and she has kids and everything else. And like, I know that's hard. Like, that's really hard. But then I'm thinking, like, I can't even say anything look, all I can tell her is you have to tell her, like, to go to God. Don't even give her advice right now. Just be like, first of all, she needs to learn God's voice, okay? If you're in a relationship that there's something that's just really off, and it's just, you feel it in your soul that y'all probably aren't supposed to be together, like, all I can tell you is pray to God. Pray to God that he opens your ears opens your ears and open your eyes. Like, start off small. You have to learn his voice. You have to learn his voice. When I was in this relationship, it was not good. It was terrible. I was breadcrumbed, but I was fully convinced that that was my husband, but I was completely breadcrumbed the entire time. He did not treat me all that well. It was mostly a sexual relationship. However, I was like, no, he loves me. He just don't know how to show it. And it was like a whole thing. But it was pretty much strictly sexual. God has so much grace that he never showed me the full, the full manifestations of him cheating on me. However, I was given bits and pieces. God knew that if I did see the full manifestation, I would probably go off the edge. Because like I say, I was depressed and anxious. And when I say I love hard, it wasn't that I would have done anything to them. It was more so that I would have done something to myself. And so, yeah, God was so good to me then. But I had bits and pieces that he was cheating on me. I still defended him every way I could, because when he's, he would lie or whatever, and then I'd just be like, okay, well, maybe I'm going crazy. And of course, I was also into tarot. This is why I say, look, tarot readings and all that other stuff is dangerous. Get away from that. That is the devil, first of all. Stop listening to these people talking about your soulmate and twin flame and stuff. That's not God. Okay, that's not God. Stop. I'm telling you from experience, okay? I was stuck in that relationship because of these people. Because they were talking about some, oh, it's the sun card, like the happiness, whatever, bullcrap. Stop listening to these people. I'm sorry. And it, like I say, it's not even like I say that all the time, but it's like God says. This is not a war between flesh and blood. So these people mean good, but stop listening to their devils, okay? We got our own devils to deal with. Stop listening to their devils, because then they bringing them devils on you, okay? So it was a whole thing. Don't listen to that, because it had me trapped and it had me confused. Because one person would be like, oh, this is your soulmate. Next person be like, oh no, it's a twin flame, and y'all are supposed to go through some things, and then y'all are gonna come together later on. Yo, that is bullcrap. Don't listen to that. And then, another thing is like, oh yeah, you need to break up, and no, that is the enemy. Okay, God is gonna be concise and true. There will not be any confusion with God. The enemy plants confusion, okay? What I'm saying is, yes, it's going to be hard. This is a spiritual battle, okay? So when somebody is like, oh, they should just leave them. Yo, I know what it's like. It's hard to leave, especially when you're somebody who loves hard. The enemy knows exactly how to keep you attached. And if you don't know Jesus, you won't be stuck. Y'all, so when I was in this relationship, I started a prayer closet. I was in the prayer, I had a whole prayer closet. Like I said, I was still in the world. I was still, reading tarot. However, I did believe in God. I believed in God. It was always like a flip between God and the universe. Like I say, this is the enemy. But I definitely believed in God for the most part. I was like, no, God has to be real. However, I didn't know Jesus. I literally remember being in my prayer closet and being like, Lord, I don't really know how Jesus fits in all of this, like in our relationship, but I'm just glad I know you. Like, I remember saying that. So, I it's just crazy to think about. But it's true. I didn't know Jesus. I never read the Bible at the time. I didn't have any information on that. I had never read the Bible myself. And then every time I would be wailing and crying in that prayer closet about this man. I would be wailing and crying, and I'm like, God, that's my husband. And this is why this was my Jacob moment. You know how in the Bible Jacob fought God? This was my Jacob fighting God moment. I was literally fighting God in my prayer closet. Like, God, how in the world am I gonna be talking to God, talking about that's my husband, knowing he knows all. I didn't, like I said, I didn't know God, but I was literally fighting with God. God is like, that's not my husband. But I was like, but it's so hard to break away. He has to be my husband. Y'all, oh my gosh, the way I was wailing and crying. And the thing is in that relationship, I cried almost every day. Like, we were together in like I say, I've known him for 8-9 years. It was on and off. But by this time, it was like a 2-year time span that we were together. And I'm not even lying. Like, I cried every day. Like, I cried every day over that relationship because he just was not treating me well. But some reason, I just kept holding on. That's why I say, that's the devil. Like, there was no reason for me to hold on. I just knew it was the devil. I was into sexual immorality. So, yes, we had sex. You know, I lost my virginity to him. It was like a whole thing. That's why I say I couldn't let go. And I remember I would leave out of my prayer closet and I would feel God immediately, just like not giving up, but in a way, like just letting me go. Like, he was just like, fine, I remember that's the craziest thing. I could hear God the whole time, and that's why the devil was trying to crowd my mind with so many voices. But I remember hearing, whatever, she's gonna do whatever you want to do, or like, you're gonna do whatever you want to do. I remember hearing that in my head. That's what I'm saying. That was Jesus then, but I didn't know. He had to let me go because I didn't give my life up to him. He had to let me go. He had no choice to let me, because he's a just God. He's not forcing himself into anything. He is a gentleman. So he let me go. I will walk out and going right back to the enemy. Man, I can't tell y'all. I was in I was so miserable in that relationship. And like I said, we both had our issues. Man, we both had our issues. But, y'all, I was so miserable. Whoa, I was so miserable. I thank you, Jesus, for saving me, Lord. And so the first time when I finally got out, look, this is what I say, it was only God. I don't know what happened. It's a mystery, the mystery of God. All I know is I actually met my kingdom spouse in September of 21. And that was also the time where I finally decided to let go of this bad relationship. Yo, that's why I say it's only God. It's the spirit. Like, that's the spirit realm. So when I met him, all of a sudden, I just started wanting to do better for myself. So, I switched jobs. I was like, I'm done with this bad job. It was a whole thing. I had left my, job, and then I just started, I can look back and say I started following God in a way, even though I didn't know him. But I know it was God now looking back. I started following God. If you would have asked me, I would have just said, oh, I'm just following my heart, something crazy. But yeah, no, I just think back, God really did that. God really did that, you know? So good. It's so good. And so like everything just started changing, and that was God's spirit. That was God's spirit. I couldn't have did that myself. It was nothing that I did. That God gets all the glory from that, because I'm like, what? You know? So yeah, but that's what I say. I understand, like, to let go of how hard it is letting go of a soul tie, especially if you love hard. Like, can y'all imagine? Okay, so like real quick, you see me now loving God the way I love God, boldly. Like, I'm ready to fight for God at any moment, because he has proven himself and shown himself so many times. Like, y'all gotta have encounters with him. So imagine this love that I have for God for a man. Come on. Like, that's how bad it is. Like, we have got to, like, when God says put him first, put him first. Put him first. Because you won't be you don't need to be attached to anything in this world, anything or anybody. You will be miserable. You will be miserable. But yeah, I think that was all I wanted to say with that. I feel like there was something else, but I kind of forgot. But like, yes, the only way to get out of these soul tie relationships, the only way to get out of anything of the world is Jesus. Okay? I had to learn who Jesus was. And then that's when I could really get to God. And we know that the only way to God is through Jesus. So, look, that's why I say he has proven his word so many times in my life. Like, I'm literally, I'm tell everybody, I'm a walking example. Like, I didn't even know what I was doing at the time, but I'm a walking example. Like, look, I could keep on going on forever. But like, God is good, and I love him. I know y'all love him. Y'all have got to keep the fire going. Keep the fire going. Okay, keep the fire going. He is so good, and he gonna take care of you. But that is all. So if you are led to support, I love you very much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.